And we are back. What's going on, buddy?
Not much.
We had quite the night last night.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah. And it's crazy. So last night we went and saw Cannibal Corpse at St. Andrews Hall in Detroit, and we saw them together last November in Grand Rapids at the intersection Recorruptor open forum, and one of the Alex in Recorruptor posted today a memory of meeting Eric Rutan last year, because Hate Eternal opened forum last year.
Oh.
On today. So we literally saw them 1 year ago to the day, pretty much.
That's crazy.
Almost. Like 1 day off. That blew my mind. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. I didn't realize that.
Neither did I. I knew it was close. I knew it was the same month,
Yeah.
but I didn't know it was that close. So yeah, no, we went back. We saw Cannibal. That would be the second time in the past 12 months, technically speaking. I guess it's the third time we've seen them.
Yeah.
Because we saw them last year at the intersection and then this year with Slayer. But that was just an opening slot, only probably like 5, 6, 7 songs, something like that. Very early in the day too. It was still daylight out. It was at Pine Knob DT, so there wasn't that many people on the hill yet. We were there because we were fucking early.
Yeah. And
but
I don't know. That was a good one. Mostly just because their set was like, it was like
all the hitters.
Yeah, it was like 7 of their like toughest songs.
Yeah.
Most of the time. So.
That was. But when you see them open, it just makes you that much more want to see them headline.
Yeah.
Every single time. But I guess we'll start with the openers. The Perdition Temple was the first one. I never heard of them.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Pretty straightforward death metal.
Yeah.
Not bad. 3-piece.
Yeah.
Which kind of that surprised me. I was like, damn. Pretty fucking good, especially considering they are a 3-piece actually. But yeah, like I very straightforward death metal. Very traditional death metal. And I did think it was interesting that the bassist seemed to be the vocalist, but the guitarist seemed to be the one that talked the most in between songs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And introduced songs.
I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, they kind of like went back and forth. I was like, oh, it's different. I'm not opposed to that at all. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, I like it when fucking like, obviously this is kind of a ridiculous example, but I love it when like you're seeing Steel Panther and fucking Lexi Fox and Satchel are like talking in between songs. It's always funny. But yeah, Perdition Temple, pretty good. Fucking first of all, so we get to St. Andrews, and that place, by the time before the opening band went on, that place was ready to pop. Like that place, there was an energy. That place was ready to fucking go. So they were playing this weird fucking music before the first band comes out, and everybody literally everybody in the crowd says Slayer, fucking screaming Slayer. So they cut the song and then put on Raining Blood.
Yeah.
And I fuck with you not, there was a pit before the opening band.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen that. I don't know if I've ever, and that's what I talked about before with you, how like the crowds in Detroit are very different than the crowds in Grand Rapids.
Oh,
like
easily.
That would not have happened ever in Grand Rapids. It's fucking, it was crazy. But then so they only played like a few seconds of Raining Blood, and then the band Perdition Temple came out.
Yeah.
And it was and they rocked. It was really good. And then Thy Art Is Murder up next.
Wow.
Definitely a gigantic reason why you and I went to that show.
Yeah.
Because of how, first of all, I really just got into Thy Art this year. Love the new album. Love the old albums. And yeah, I'm a really big fan. And we actually almost went and saw them earlier this year when they were on tour opening for the Architects. We didn't end up going to that show, but also neither did CJ, the lead singer of Thy Art Is Murder.
Yeah.
So had we gone, we would not have seen the lineup that we want to see.
Yeah.
So we got to last night. We finally got to see. Now, you've seen Thy Art once before, again, though, without the lead vocalist CJ, correct?
Yeah.
Where was that?
That was at the Loft, I think.
Oh,
It was-
shit, really?
Yeah, it was on the Holy War tour. It was like just after CJ left.
Really?
Yeah, and that was around the time when nobody really knew what was going on. Nobody knew if he was like the permanent replacement or if it was just kind of like a
Temporary.
Yeah, so
Right.
I was like, all right, well, and I think it was with I don't know, I don't remember who. I think it was like Fit for an Autopsy and Rings of Saturn and
Jesus
another
Christ.
band. Yeah, it was
That's a
wild.
killer tour.
Or no, it was the Coffin Dragger tour. So yeah, it was between like
Yeah, that's
Holy
the
War and
tour.
stuff.
That's the
Yeah.
tour I want to see. I want to see Thy Art with Parkway.
Oh,
Oh,
fuck.
yeah, the Australian Domination tour.
Yeah.
Come on, it's low hanging
shit.
fruit, guys. It's low hanging fruit. You know what? I think Parkway. I just looked on their Instagram or something. I think they got like a documentary coming out in December or something.
Do they?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. Like I saw something about something that looked like that, so I'm gonna have to do a little more looking. But yeah. So that we finally get to see Thy Art with CJ, and holy shit, like. The moment they came on that stage, I was forced into the pit,
Yeah.
and I didn't leave it. I stood on the side of that pit, and I was like, like I wasn't even planning on it,
Yeah.
and it just happened, and I got to the point where I was like, hit me, you know what I mean? Like it was fucking, I was ready to go.
Yeah.
I wanted to take some damage, for sure.
Like,
Where
it
did
was-
you end up? Because I looked
was-
behind me and you had vanished.
Yeah, I was kind of floating around all over the place because I don't know, I kind of waited, a good while to actually like catch them live and to see them and stuff, and so I was like, I like part of me, and it was kind of the same thing with Cannibal. Like we'd seen them a few times, and like I was just kind of in the mood to just like watch.
Yeah.
Instead of like getting into everything, and so I was trying to find a spot to do that, and so I ended up kind of like in the center, and then like shifting over, and then eventually I ended up back on the right side. But yeah, it was just I couldn't believe the set list, like
For Thy Art? Yeah.
like one after another.
Yeah, it was crazy good. Let's look that up real quick, actually. We can talk about that, because I don't remember everything. I know, put it this way, they played all the ones I wanted to hear.
Yeah,
I mean, pretty much. I mean, okay, put it this way. They played all the ones I wanted to hear that you could possibly play on an opening set list.
yeah,
The opening set lists are going to be shorter than headliners, as they should be.
yeah.
So,
I mean, like to me, it kind of felt more like a co-headline than like an opening.
well, it definitely feels that way in a sense because because Thy Art has not done a headlining tour for the new album yet.
Yeah,
And Cannibal Corpse is here quite frequently. Oh no, please don't start playing. God, I hate ads. Okay, here we go. So they did Death Squad Anthem, Make America Hate Again, Fern Claw, Slave Beyond Death, Holy War. Yeah, 11 songs. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
No Absolutions, Human Target, The Son of Misery, New Gods, Reign of Darkness, and Puppet Master. So yeah, I mean, they played all the hitters.
yeah.
And some...
I was like the only one I'm surprised that they didn't play, and I thought they were gonna end with it. Was Pure Strain of Hate.
Yeah.
That was a big single
That-
off of that one.
Or even Coffin Dragger.
Yeah,
But excellent set list. Reign of Darkness was the one I really wanted to hear because that was a song that got me into them.
yeah,
Honestly, like I liked Hate before I liked Holy War.
yeah,
So and yeah, and honestly, the seeing them live even made me like the new tracks even more
that's yeah,
by quite a bit. They were quite good live. Now, see, here's the thing about a band like Thy Art, like band that has those fast timed like stops that like breakdowns like that and stuff like that. Like the one thing about it, it's awesome, especially if you can actually do it live like they can. But you can't really like. It doesn't leave room for like any improvisation. It doesn't leave any room because the whole crowd needs that stop or that moment or that breakdown at that exact moment in the song.
Yeah.
And if they don't get it, then you're going to fuck up the whole crowd and everybody's going to hate it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So as awesome as those songs are and as heavy and intense, it almost leaves a little less room for like embellishment and stuff like that live during the songs. It's almost like you want like Cannibal Corpse. If I go to see Cannibal Corpse, I wouldn't mind, and sometimes they have done a little extra something different on the solo or this or that live to give it an extra live. Whereas I feel like Thy Art, you want to go and pretty much hear exactly what you hear on the record.
Yeah.
Which they definitely delivered.
Yeah.
They are that good live. And that's saying something because CJ was sick last night.
Yeah.
So shout out to CJ.
Yeah, that was like his I mean, I've always been a fan of his vocals, but there was something about that was like especially just agonizing sounding and like.
Well, no, his when he was singing, his vocals were perfect, but like in between the songs when he was talking, you could tell he was hurting.
Yeah,
like you could tell. Definitely.
Yeah. He's kind of muttering something about like having like $300 for like somebody to take him to the ER or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like, well, anyway, here's the next song. Like,
I was like, is that a joke?
Yeah. It's like, are we about to like, is he gonna die up here or something?
CJ died in Detroit.
Yeah.
But yeah, excellent fucking set list. Absolutely blew me away in terms of a live performance. And they said they'll be back hopefully in March or April of next year. Hopefully on the Human Target, what I would hope would be a Human Target headlining tour or Human Target co-headliner with Parkway Drive. Just saying.
You never know.
Just saying. They've toured Australia.
Yeah.
They know each other. So what was it? What was it for you finally getting a chance to see that lineup?
I'm like pretty much like aside from a couple of songs that I wish they would have played.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of it, I mean more so like deep service kind of or like deep cuts like fan servicey kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like that was just cool to actually like to be able to like see the full band as it is like as I know it and stuff.
Yeah, like the guys that actually made the records.
Yeah. And it definitely like there was a couple of moments, especially with the newer songs that like they just hit so much harder.
Yeah,
like New Gods.
Yeah, oh, especially New Gods. Yeah,
that was one of the coolest songs.
And honestly, the crowd not my favorite title, not my favorite hook, but the crowd interaction on Make America Hate Again made me like it a lot more.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, they get it. All right. Like this is sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, like they were fucking really good. Like
musically, like as tight as you'd expect.
Yep.
Yep. I mean, especially like I was most of the night I was trying to pay attention to like, different like parts of bands and stuff. And like for them it was the drums and it was I think mostly drums and vocals. I noticed the most. It's like Jesse, like dude's just a monster. Like, I don't know. I that's kind of like I see that and I'm like that's what I want to do.
Hell
that's
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's inspiring really. So and like to have seen him with the old band Black Crown Initiate.
Oh, okay.
And then from that to this, who are like, I don't know, like at least right now it's definitely like a step up in terms of like where they're at as a band and stuff. And so for him to do that and have it be like, twice what it was with the last band, like it's just as awesome. So,
yeah.
I hope to catch them again.
Yeah, when
really soon.
If they fucking come back on a headliner, I definitely want to see a headlining set list from them.
Yeah,
for sure. Like they brought it. They brought it, and it was awesome. Really awesome to finally get to see them live for sure. Especially like right when I'm really getting into it.
Yeah.
Then the gods arrived.
I mean, well,
as they do.
Yeah.
As they do, seemingly every November.
Yeah.
In Michigan.
Oddly enough, yeah.
It was funny too because like I really got like deep back into Cannibal a couple years ago now, and they I I looked at their like tour history. They got their tour history, most of it, their dates on their website.
Yeah.
You can like go back to past dates. And like I looked at it and it was like for the last like 4 or 5 years in a row, they had been here every year in November. I was like, oh, that's their thing. Okay. I bet they'll be here in November. And they were. And we went. And they were back again this year. So, yeah, I'll never miss a Cannibal show in Michigan. Like, there's just... what? If you've never seen them live, like, what you need to understand... I've seen people disappear in a Cannibal Corpse pit. Like... gone forever. Pink mist.
Yeah.
they're just gone. So it's a show. It's one of like the last real, you know what I mean? Like metal shows. If you go to a Cannibal show, there's still an element of real danger. You know what I mean? It still feels that way when you're there and it's going crazy. You know what I mean? Like, there was a moment where we were like pretty much like second or third row, and there was a giant pit behind us, and then the first 3 rows started pitting. So like we were the only thing in between these 2 pits, and it was crazy.
If you've ever been to St. Andrews, you know how like quickly.
Oh, it can turn.
Yeah.
Oh, it can turn. Yeah, because at one point then the back pit realized what was happening with the front pit, so the back pit attacked the front pit. They all just started running into him. It was crazy. It was one of the best pits I've seen in a very, very long time though. Like really fun. Like everyone was just having fun. No one was throwing elbows. No one was doing karate. No one was trying to hurt anybody. Everyone was like legit having a fucking riot. Like so much fun. But yeah, Cannibal comes out and just man, like destroys with Eric Rutan in on guitar.
It was
fuck.
It was one of the because I actually. There was a point in time where I wasn't sure if I should watch like the moshing going on because there was a lot going on, like a lot of that kind of like I don't know, just like watching certain people and stuff, and like and then I was like I don't know if I should watch that, pay attention to that, or if I should watch the band. And, like it was kind of like back and forth and stuff.
Yeah,
and, like man, like that's one of the things that if you're not so much into like the moshing side of it and stuff like. But you still into like the technicality of watching a live death metal band that's really proficient in what they do and stuff. That's definitely a band to start with.
Like you were talking about how much did you watch Paul? Is that the drummer of Cannibal Corpse's name? Yeah. How much did you watch him?
It was between him and Rutan, like the whole show.
Dude, because we were kind of on Rutan's side anyway, but which is kind of funny because last year we would have been on the other side.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true.
But there was a moment, actually for a few songs, where I just had a perfect clear shot right underneath the cymbal of Paul. I could see his face and everything he was doing, and it. I was like, if this was just a video on YouTube, I would watch this for hours. Like, he's just going insane, like moving way faster than you think. And like when you're here, like listening to it at the same time and everything, it's like, fuck, man. Like, how is he even doing that? This guy's got gray in his beard and he's holy shit. Like, it's just, and you can almost tell he's just going on second nature. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is just what I do. I don't even think about it. Like,
well, it makes me wonder because I don't know how much, like, because I know that before, I think the first couple of shows he wasn't using triggers or anything, any like effects or anything. And I think on this show he might have just a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, that I noticed anyway. But like, the thing I always appreciate, especially about that, a band like them, is it's very like stripped down.
Yes.
It's very like it's like 4 stacks of like amps that may or may not be actual cabinets.
I did see things plugged into them.
Yeah.
But who knows?
I mean, I've seen like Slayer and stuff have like the wall of it, and there's just empty cabinets and shit. But like, it's walls of cabinets and then drum kit, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing. There's no like keyboards, no electronics, like
no effects.
Yeah.
I don't even know if, like, I mean, they might use a guitar pedal, but they definitely don't use any kind of like wah-wah or anything like that. Like, they might give it something for some extra like overdrive or tone or whatever.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I mean, when a band sounds that good live, and it's like there's no secrets, there's nothing like, it's just
this is just what we do.
Yeah.
This is just what we got.
Yeah.
And it's fucking insane. Like, watching them play really is watching, like, when you're up close paying attention to when Alex does some soloing when you have a rare opportunity to like see someone like Eric Rutan on guitar for him. When you watch him do some of those solos, it is another level. Like, these guys are just unbelievably talented.
Yeah.
Like, unbelievably talented, every single one of them. It's insane.
Like, he just adds so much more aggression to their riffs.
He does.
Me. Like, and there's even parts that I picked up from it, because like I hadn't really listened to him too much, like, going into this show.
Yeah.
I mean, well,
not
at
like
least,
lately,
right? Yeah. As of recently, and so like I kind of forgot about some of it, and like hearing some like older songs, and then like seeing like just how he like throws his whole entire like body and stuff into it, and like it's just, I don't know, like, it's just another level, really.
It is, and they came out and busted out a fucking 18 song set list.
Yeah, like, it was, and that was the other thing, is like it was a long set list, but like it was just fun to watch.
It was over an hour and a half.
Yeah,
it was an 18 song set list. You got everything.
Yeah.
Red Before Black, Scourge of Iron, Wretched Spawn, fucking Gutted, Killer Becomes, Skull and Maggots, Evisceration Plague, Death Walking Terror, I Come Blood, Make Them Suffer, Stripped, Raped, and Strangled, Hammer Smashed Face, fucking Jesus, Unleashing the Bloodthirsty.
Dude, Devoured by...
Only one will die.
Yeah. Devoured by Vermin and Death Walking Terror.
Those were some deep
Two
cuts.
of like the high points for that set.
Death Walking Terror. I did not expect them to play that. But I always, as long as they pretty much always play two of my favorites, which is Wretched Spawn and Killer Become.
Yeah.
So like I get that pretty much every time. But yeah, their set lists are always, they don't fuck around. It's like, you guys paid it's $25 a ticket, and they're gonna play for over an hour and a half an 18 song set list. Are you kidding me? That's insane.
Spanning over like 30 years of their career.
Yeah.
Like.
off of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different albums.
Yeah.
They played a song off 12 different albums. Jesus. God, that's awesome. They're so fucking... That's why you never miss a Cannibal show.
Yeah.
It is worth every goddamn penny. Because they do not fuck around.
It's funny, he was throwing the water bottles at people, and like they missed, like, oh well.
You get nothing.
Yeah. Such like a dude that made like 18-year-old me like watching like Metalocalypse just smile.
Yes.
Like
yes. Exactly. And dude, there were those two fucking little kids in the mosh pit. Those two like 13-year-olds that were badasses. They just looked like they were having the time of their fucking life. I was like, that's like me and Preston.
That was the other thing too. There was a lot, like, it was a mix of different people and stuff.
Very mixed crowd. I was like, this is awesome. Like, and everybody seemed to know what was up. Like, I was like, this is going really well. Like, this is all going really well. And there's no complications. That's for fucking sure.
I was surprised though, because there was a few times where I thought there was like for sure something, like somebody fighting somebody else, or like, But then like it's weird when you see that, and then immediately after it's like hugs and high fives.
Oh
and
yeah,
shit.
dude,
Like,
there was fucking there were the two guys like holding each other's shoulders in the pit or whatever, like kind of like going at each other.
Yeah.
And I knew they were just fucking around, but the security guard didn't.
Yeah.
And I saw him kind of like about to run in and break it up. And then I looked back up at them. And by the time I looked back up at them, they had stopped and were hugging.
Yeah.
And the security guard looked so confused. Like he did, okay. And he just went back to where he was.
Yeah,
I was
saw
like,
that.
oh, that was hilarious. I was like, no, they're good, dude. They're just fucking around. Because I had been watching both of those guys the whole night because they were in the pit the whole fucking night.
Yeah.
Man, it was nothing but good. There's a lot. There's electricity in there. There's a lot of energy in that room, but it was all good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's especially when the fucking metal came on, like it just popped every single time. That place was ready to go. I mean, at this point, it had been over 2 years, or about 2 years at least, since Cannibal Corpse had played in downtown Detroit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I hope next time they come to Majestic. I'd love to see them there again.
That'd be sick.
That is one of my favorite shows ever when I saw them at the Majestic for the first time. It was like 2008 or 9. Something like that. Fucking insane. All right. Well, oh, wait, no. And then, so on the way home, now, we try to always go to Armando's when we on the way home, but on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday they close at midnight and they stop seating at 11. So if the show ends at like 11:30, there's really no getting there on time.
Yeah.
So on the way home last night, I'm like, well, maybe we still get something that we can only get down here. Let's look up a White Castle. So we go to White Castle. We're in line after we order, and Aaron goes, "Yeah, this is gonna be my first White Castle experience." What?
Yeah.
You had never had a White Castle before last night.
That's true.
That is insane to me.
And honestly, like, I kind of wonder why. Other than the fact that there isn't one around me, there hasn't been one around me unless I like drive somewhere to it.
Well, like I said, there was once one here in Lansing, but you would have been really young because I was really young. So maybe. What year were you born?
94.
Okay, so you would have been like 7, 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
So you probably didn't give a fuck about. Yeah.
Unless
shit, I was fucking back when I was that young. Do you remember Taco Bell cinnamon twisties?
I do.
That was my shit.
Don't they still sell those?
Do they?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I feel like I went there recently and I got some.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they stopped. I don't know.
I think it's like a specialty item, but yeah, I used to get those all the time. Yeah.
But it's understandable. You've never really been around, but at the same time, kind of not, because when you're a fucking 18, or when you have your driver's license and you watch Harold and Kumar, and then don't immediately look up where's the closest White Castle and go on an adventure, because that's what I did.
Yeah.
Like that was fucking. Because, I mean, once you get a craving for those sweet little burgers, there's nothing else that'll do it.
I'll say, like, it was a lot better than I expected it to be.
So good.
Like, I wasn't sure. Because, it's all, like, like sliders and stuff. And, like, if you don't know anything about it, you're like, oh, well, that's, it's kind of just whatever. But, like, till you have it, you're like, oh, shit.
And, look, I've had, like, it's crazy, too, because I've gone to, like, a legit restaurant and their thing is sliders. Like that's what they sell there are sliders. It's like a bar restaurant thing. Not that good.
Yeah.
Like not good. Probably made with better ingredients. Not that good. And especially compared to a fucking White Castle. Oh my God. Amazing.
Yeah, that was some good stuff.
It blows my mind. What was it? What was the other thing that you'd never done? There was some other thing earlier this year. Harpo's? No,
I was there a couple of years. I think wasn't it like Red Lobster or something?
No.
Like
well,
food,
I think we did do that.
Yeah.
No, but I don't know if it was food wise.
What was the other first?
It was like it had gone some. Shit.
I've had quite a few different firsts this year. I know that.
Name some.
That's one of them. Oh, just those two.
Fuck, there was something else. I think we even talked about it on the podcast.
I feel like we did, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
What the fuck was that? Shit. I don't know. Maybe it'll come to me later.
Yeah.
Damn it. I don't remember. because I can't think of a venue. It was a venue.
Oh man.
'Cause if it wasn't Harpo's, I know you've been to the machine shop.
That was I didn't go this year. I hadn't
Okay.
been there this year, but
But you have been there, yeah. I can't think of anywhere else. I mean, we went to. No, that was last year. Shit. Yeah, I don't know. Fuck. Because especially something, I can't think of anything like that where I would be like, I can't believe you've never done this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ah.
I'll have to go back and think about
Yeah,
some stuff.
I don't know. Anyway, so, yeah, any other final thoughts on the Cannibal Show?
I don't know. Kind of hit it. Really.
Fun fact, last night, and I was wrong about one of them, but fun fact, last night, Battlecross, Phil Anselmo, Cannibal Corpse and Die Artist Murder, and Ministry were all in Michigan, but Ministry was actually at the machine shop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not all in Detroit. Phil Anselmo and Cannibal and Die Art and Battlecross were all in Detroit at the same time playing.
Just pretty wild.
Pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Fun fact. What'd you think of the new Ozzy song?
Oh yeah.
I talked about it a little bit on the last one, but I want to get your thought.
I was actually like surprised by how much I liked it.
Yeah.
Like it was after everything he's kind of gone through this year alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, the last few years been kind of tough, like health wise and everything. And didn't we? Was it last year we saw him? Last summer? Or was it this
2018,
year? Yeah.
Summer of 18.
Yeah.
It was like September. We
Well,
saw him with Stone Sour.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then ever since then, he canceled dates and stuff, and it's been kind of rough. And
Yeah, he's had some health issues.
in and out of the
For sure.
hospital. So I think like for him to still be able to do that and to have it be something that's like actually surprising to come from him,
Mhm.
like at least at this stage of the game, like I think is awesome in my book.
And to have like no word of anything, and then all of a sudden, hey, new album January.
Yeah.
Here's a single. What? And the single's good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Did you know that the bassist is Duff McKagan from Guns?
Oh really?
And the drummer is Chad Smith from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh shit.
Swear to God.
Oh.
And the guitarist, I talked about it. I can't remember his name, but he's also like a producer or something. I think I think he might have been the one that did the Post Malone thing or something. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I got to look that up again. But
Oh.
but yeah. So that's quite an interesting lineup.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that song. Like I liked it a lot. So really looking forward to hearing the rest of that album.
I always thought Chad Smith was a better drummer than some of the bands he's in.
Than Will Ferrell?
Yeah. Whichever you prefer, I guess. Like,
I love that shit.
Yeah. But yeah, like lyrically, it's actually like surprisingly dark.
Yeah.
Like you could tell he kind of like he's like, I'm just gonna write about the stuff that's been happening over the last like couple years and stuff. You could tell it's coming from that kind of place, and so I don't know. I think I'm pretty excited to hear it.
Potential contender for 2020's album of the year list.
Maybe, yeah. God, I can't even think about next year's list.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Still got to get through this year's.
We got some big humps
Yeah.
to get over for this year between the album of the year, album of the decade.
Well, you know what's weird? I was thinking about it, and like I feel like I'm like because I can only really think of like right now in my head I have like top 3
For what?
for I'd say album of the year. Not so much like decade stuff.
Okay.
Like that's the thing I'm really struggling with.
Well, like I said, what I did was I just started, with my who do I pretty much listen to on a very regular basis,
Yeah.
and what have they released in the past 10 years.
Yeah.
And I just started there and going over that. I think that's your wire. Anyway, fucking, yeah, so yeah, that's just kind of where I started. You know what I mean? It is difficult and daunting.
Especially a lot like Not so much. I mean, because last year it was pretty much like by this time I pretty much knew like, all right, this it's kind of where I'm at with everything. But this year, like, I feel like still got like the last part of November, and then
there's still more albums coming.
Yeah,
there's still like 6 or 7 albums I need to listen to.
Yeah.
Before I make a determination for the album of the year.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, the way you and I do it is the Filthy 15. So we each pick 7 and we agree on 1. So really, you just gotta pick like. And in terms of the decade one, see for the year it's pretty easy for me. On it, this year is actually I'm much less worried about the album of the year list because I've got a pretty solid. I know off the top of my head, I know what my top like 4 are for sure. So that'll be pretty easy for me. They're just the ones I've listened to the most that grab me the most. I do have more to listen to, so maybe that changes. But right now, I'm not too worried. Album of the decade is a lot more daunting, and but like you'd be surprised when you actually go back. Like I was surprised when I went back and I was like, what actually came out since 2010 though? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and when I actually went back and looked at it, it might I don't know if it's going to be easier or harder to like, but it was kind of like less than I thought. There were a couple albums that I was like, oh, I know that did, and it like was like 2009 or something. You know what I mean? And I was like, well, that would have been on the list, but it came out in 2009, so it can't be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'd be surprised. I think you'll run into some surprises because a lot of at least when you start with some of like maybe the bigger bands that you listen to or whatever, you'll be surprised a lot of them maybe haven't released that much in the past 10 years, and what they have released in the past 10 years might not be your top stuff by them, your personal favorite stuff by them. Some of it maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely some of it for sure. But yeah, it's gonna be a good time, and hopefully we get Clint back on, and he wants to do his album of the year list on here, and hopefully that we can make that happen. Shout out to Clint from Recorruptor, who we will be seeing. This episode will be out. I'm gonna post this tonight. So if you're listening to this Thursday night or early Friday, Recorruptor is playing a show tonight, Friday night, Max Bar, Lansing, Michigan, Friday, November 15th. It's gonna be chaos, $10. It's gonna be a mad party, so be there. Shout out to Recorruptor. But yeah, one last thing I wanted to get your take on.
Well, real quick.
Yeah.
Should mention that show is it Sanitary? I always butcher their name. Old school death metal. Yeah. Centenary looks like. Obscene, Iron Mountain, and Human Maceration.
What time?
It's at 8 p.m.
All right.
Yep, $10, 10 bones.
Late night party. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good show.
We played a show with I think both Recorruptor and Sanitary.
Hell yeah.
Like a few years ago, and it was sick. It was cool because it's them, and it's like Exploding Zombies that I always forget have just been around this area forever. They have so many different albums and stuff, and I think Sanitary used to be, I don't remember what their name was, but they switched from, I think it was, I'm blanking on the name, but I know that they used to be one band. They switched, and then they're doing stuff under this new name. So,
oh yeah,
so it's cool to see them still going and stuff. So
I'm looking forward to seeing them. And Iron Mountain, just because I like the name.
Yeah.
They must be from the UP.
Maybe, I don't know.
There is an Iron Mountain up there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I would guess that'd be crazy. I should ask them.
It's a cool name for a band like that.
Yeah. So 8 p.m. Max Bar, Michigan Avenue, Lansing, Michigan, right off the freeway. Come on. It's gonna be a great time. We're all gonna be there. But yeah, Aaron, I wanted to talk to you about this Children of Bodom news. This devastating Children of Bodom news.
It's interesting.
So how did you when the news first broke? What was going on? What did you think?
I mean, I was probably as surprised as anybody about it, but at the same time, like, kind of thinking about, you know, because we kind of touched on it when we were talking about it last night about because we went to the meet and greet thing for the last tour,
and this was back in like April, or something,
and kind of like it was cool. Like I'm not trying to like downplay the experience and stuff. It was cool,
very cool.
You know, it's always cool to meet people that that you've been listening to for a long time and stuff. But yeah, I don't know, like something about it was just kind of weird, and I feel like maybe they were still sorting all of like the early parts of this out and stuff. So like I feel like I wasn't as surprised by it as maybe I would have been if like I just didn't know anything, you know, if I hadn't had that experience prior and stuff. But I mean, at the same time, like it didn't really hit me until you know, all this started happening. I started like piecing it together.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, like other than that, like that show, as far as my knowledge of it that was like one of the better times that I'd seen them and stuff.
It was a very good show.
I liked that, like their whole set list and everything was cool.
It sounded excellent.
Yeah. So, but I don't know, cause I knew that, cause it was their guitar player and their keyboard player their drummer, right? From last time this happened, whoever they replaced, I'm not sure.
They replaced the guitarist.
Yeah. Oh, I thought their drummer left too.
No.
No?
Same drummer. This time the drummer left.
Yeah.
The drummer, the bassist, and the keyboardist.
Yeah. I think I'm getting confused with Devil Driver. Is it very
Devil
similar?
Driver, the drummer, and the guitarist, I believe, left.
Yeah.
That was a few years ago.
So, but I didn't know like some of the stuff about the like the name change and everything. Like,
well, that's what I'm going to get to here. That's so I am on a group on Facebook that if you're in any groups on metal groups on Facebook, then maybe if you're a Dahlia fan, you know about the Blasphemes page. If you don't, get on it. It's an awesome like fan group. Another one, there's the Children of Bodom hate crew on there. And so the day this happened, my feed was bombarded from the hate crew with "oh my god," and then a couple days later, someone posted an interview with Alexi that had been done about what had happened and the announcement, and it was all in Finnish, so I had to fucking translate it with Google Translate. But so I'm not, I don't have the whole thing perfect. But what I got from here, according to Alexi, is it was a mutual decision, and it's in anyone's interest that we stop right now, and I have no desire to speak evil of anyone. So for those of you that don't know, after 25 years, thousands of gigs, 10 albums, and if I butcher their names, I'm very sorry, but Henkin, Jane, and Jaska had to step back and change their direction of life. They will miss the fans, and these are founding members. Besides Alexi, the last founding members of the band, leaving only the new guitarist Danny Fryman and Alexi Laiho. So basically, it was a mutual. As it turns out, because this seems like for everybody it came out of nowhere, but as it turns out, this was a mutual decision the band made together a year ago, a little bit more than a year ago. So like this is something that they knew was coming, at least pretty much during the entire time they were releasing and touring the album Hexed. Like there's a lot of speculation about stuff that was going around, and Alexi wanted to like clear some of it up, so that's another reason why he did this interview, it looks like. And it looks hold on, it looked like we last year we agreed that the three would leave. I have no bad feelings towards any of them. I have I think it's saying I think the Google Translate fucked it up, and it's saying I have the utmost respect for them, and otherwise we wouldn't be able to pull a big Christmas show together It also tells us that we're in good spirits and let's make a legendary ending with this lineup. So that's cool. Like they are trying to go out on a high note. They're not trying to end on bad terms. They're all still cool with each other. That's really, I like that.
Yeah.
Because that leaves room for a reunion one day. Just saying.
Which will more than likely happen.
Yeah.
As we've seen in history, like there's always, with every like split, there's always like a 5-year,
10-year something.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So who knows?
He said, he said, right now I'm not really feeling it yet. I don't feel the distress yet. I prefer to remain excited for the future. But I bet after the last show, sadness will, it'll really hit me, is I think what he's saying here. Again, translated. So Leho admits the band's resignation did not go as planned. We had to continue until the end of next year, Leho says. There were family reasons for it. Everyone had family and more. I respect their decision. This is not easy to do. And those idols had endured Satan those idols had endured Satan for quite some time. Okay, yeah, that does make sense. I myself have a wife and stepdaughter in Australia, and my wife understands my lifestyle. I'm pretty much gone, but I always come back, and I give them my all. Nothing is more important to me. So there were family stuff, and then we had fought a lot with the band, and I can honestly admit those fights were mainly my fault. They always started with some misconception, and then so blah blah blah. In Russia, the band, the members, they fought so badly. For a moment, it seemed the band's story would end there. After the emotions had cooled down, the foursome settled their quarrel and decided to make their final tour in Finland. And then Alexei says, fortunately, it did not end in Russia. We were able to pull things together. Now, he also wants to clear the view of Sound's new SOUND''S news around the Children of Bodom name. He said he won't need the old name after December if he can't use it. Once again, he wants to underline that he has no bitterness towards the band members at all. He said, it is clear from the website of National Board of Patents and Registration, and the rights to the name Children of Bodom are held by AA and Surya Consulting, SEWIRA, they are also in charge of the three that left. So the people that own the name also own, they're in charge of the people that left. They don't own them. But so that all stays with Alexei left that he left that sort of, I think. I don't know.
It's kind of what it sounds like.
But he said, when I signed out of that company, I knew I was going to lose the name. I understand that they're going to continue to make music. I'm not sure if they're going to use the name or not. But they can if they want to. The possible loss of the Children of Bodom name has not prevented Alexei from planning a new lineup. He and Freiberg have already chosen a new drummer and bassist. The caller section is still pending. I don't know what the caller. According to Leho, the new lineup, the gigs should start next spring. And he has several band name options in mind. So what's interesting to me here is that it's if the three don't continue as Children of Bodom and Alexei doesn't use the name, that means the name Children of Bodom does die at that last show. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Because we've seen this before in terms of like split ups and stuff, and like I guess more so with like, like 90s bands and stuff, like
punk hardcore bands.
Yeah.
Like there's some of those that like where half the band started another band with the same name and stuff. Like
it's I think either like Black Flag or the Misfits. I think
there's
a couple different.
There's Joss that talks about one all the time though. But I can't.
I know.
Is it Cro-Mags? Or do they have something?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember for sure.
I know. I think Queensryche is another one. There was like two different versions of it.
Yeah. There's Queensryche and Geoff Tate's Queensryche. Yeah.
So like, I don't know. Like to me, like if Alexi isn't in it, then it's not Bodom to me. Like if he,
I do agree with you a bit on that.
I mean, because like if
you can't have somebody else front Guns N' Roses other than Axl.
Yeah, perfect example.
Yeah, because that's pretty much kind of a situation we have with Alexi being the only remaining member. But if he takes a new name, then it's a whole new thing. It's a whole new project. It can have a whole new sound. Maybe the calling section, maybe that was a misinterpretation from Google, and what it meant was keyboards.
Oh, yeah, that could be. That makes sense.
If he doesn't have a new keyboardist yet, if he even uses one.
To me, I'd be interested to hear, like, because do you know who writes majority of their stuff? Isn't
Alexi does a lot of it. Yeah.
So I wonder.
And he said he gets to keep all the songs that he wrote.
Yeah.
Like those are all mine still. It's just the name.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like to me, whenever there's a split and whenever it's something like this where it's like mutual, or just maybe maybe it's not. I don't know. But just I don't know. I always see it as like, is it better to drag the name through the mud and until it's like. Until it's seen as something other than what it is, or is it best to just kind of like go on to something else? I guess
I mean, it's the decision. I think what they should do, honestly, is come together and make a decision. Is Children of Bodom just a name, or is Children of Bodom us?
Yeah.
Because if it's us, then I think we should all agree to let it die until we decide to come back together.
Yeah.
But if it's just a name, then all right, we'll do whatever we want. And I'm not even opposed to Alexi's next band being fucking, I don't know, something Bodom or Bodom something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Back from Bodom. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Something like that. Like, yeah. Like, still play with it. Still acknowledge it. But, I don't really... If he doesn't use it in the new band lineup, then I'd prefer it to not be used, I think, personally.
Yeah.
Personally. The idea of a Children of Bodom and him not being the front man, you're right. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah. It'd be weird.
Yeah. And again, I hope he continues to make music. I hope he does it under a new name referring to Bodom somehow. I think that would be great. And not only that, I hope the other three do the exact same thing. Get a new fucking front man, get another guitarist, start a new band referring to Bodom somehow.
Yeah.
Have both of you do that. It would be awesome. I would go see both of those.
Yeah.
Absolutely in a heartbeat. So, yeah.
And the other thing I kind of think of is, because bands split up all the time. And sometimes it ends up being like because they've been around like 30 years,
25,
pretty close. Yeah. So yeah, I gotta imagine some of that is is a matter of like just kind of like fatigue from it.
He mentions in the interview, he says, hold on one second. I
guess the point I'm trying to get at is that I'm kind of seeing some like overlapping with the Chris Adler thing, because he's talking about like not wanting to play the same songs for 15 years or for what I mean. Like I wonder if that has any weight to.
I can't find it right now, but somewhere in the interview he said, like, Alexi wanted to point out how rare it is just for a band to have been together for... right here.
Yeah.
Leho admits that is very rare for three longtime players to leave the band at the same time, but he also highlights the rare occurrence in music industry where four members have been playing together for over 20 years. He has been working with Werman, Sepala, and Ratikane, God, I'm so bad at their names. I'm so sorry. For decades to create a wonderful duet. Still, he does not admit the distress of the decision of the era. Okay, so yeah. But yeah. So he even pointed that out, like, hey, I get the situation's a little odd, but it's also fucking insane that we've even gone on this long.
Yeah.
So.
Well, especially being a band like, to sound like they do and to come from like Finland.
Yeah.
And
you just said, so you hit on something too. It blows my mind that in the same year, two of my favorite bands lose key members.
Yeah.
From Lamb of God and now Children of Bodom. And then just a few years ago was Devil Driver. Everybody is changing it up. Very strange.
Oh, it's weird to see this kind of, because I always kind of felt like eventually, like it's kind of inevitable. Like, you gotta, like, something is gonna happen to where it's either gonna change the course of history as far as like the band goes and stuff. And then there's those other times where, things happen and it kind of forces them to like stop making music and everything. And it's weird that, like, because I always used to see it more with like older bands and stuff. Like, saw it a lot with AC/DC a lot, as far as like their kind of like complications and stuff. And
yeah,
like it's weird that I feel like we're almost reaching that point where it's like,
with some of the bands that we love that we've come up with. Yeah. It's weird, yeah. Like, because when you're younger, you like watch the VH1 shows and you hear about all the turbulence back in the '80s and the early '90s when we were just kids.
Yeah.
And then we find our bands of our generation.
Yeah.
And now we're hitting that age where they're gonna start to have some. You know what? Maybe you're right about that.
Like, it's
just history repeating itself.
Because we're all like I guess with that, like, everybody's trying to find that like next thing, like the next big sound or whatever. And
yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's hard to not ignore something like that. It's just kind of a funny, like, side note, I guess. It's not quite as, like, I guess, like, as much of a big deal as maybe it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like, I don't think anything like that is on quite the scale of, like, what happened with the whole Metallica thing. Like, when,
right,
or anything like that. But it is, like, enough of a big deal to where, like, it changes the, like, how the bands sound and, like, just everything else. And so
absolutely. Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Fucking just blows my mind. Bummed out that the last show isn't in Michigan.
Yeah.
I don't know why it would be. It'd be pretty weird, but my God, would I go to that show?
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to see them one last time together, and not only that, we got to meet them.
Yeah, that was
so
cool.
That was really awesome.
I've seen them like I think 4 or 5 times at least.
I mean, yeah, this is a band I haven't missed a Michigan show since 2008.
Yeah.
So for 11 years, I've seen every show in Michigan. And I kind of wish I had known that the last time was the last time. I would have gone a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Man, I've seen them open for Lamb of God. You know what I mean? I've seen Amon Amarth open for them.
Yeah.
Insane, dude. Such a legendary band.
I remember during the last Mayhem Fest they played at. That was like one of my favorite times seeing them.
Yep.
And I ended up like. I don't do this too often. I still haven't, like, I don't think I mean, well, maybe like one other time, but like I don't really like crowd surf anymore.
Crowd surfed for Bodom?
Yeah, you don't remember that?
Oh, no, I don't. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That was like one of the more fun, because it was towards the end. I think they were like one of the last bands on the in like the lot stage and stuff, and so there wasn't. I mean, there was a good amount of people there, but it was enough to where you could kind of like move around and stuff. And
okay.
Like, I get so like. Like, it's always like a split decision that you make. You're
yeah.
Like, yes or no.
It's
like,
impulse.
Like, all right, yeah. Sometimes yes, sometimes you're like, like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't really want to, like, and like, I don't know. It must have just been like just what was going on that day, because like I'm always worried about, like, if you pay attention, you see some like horror stories and some
yeah,
like
you see some concussions.
Yeah, people getting like dropped. And like on their heads and stuff, and like we're talking like this is a a straight up parking lot.
Cement.
Yeah, like
cement.
You know, and at the time, you know, and I guess now, like I'm not like, you know, I don't got too much weight to me, but like, you know, like there's always that concern of like, you know,
getting dropped.
Yeah,
absolutely.
not making it to the front, but fortunately, it made it all the way there and stuff, and like it was. So that was one of the more crazy memories I have of their shows.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, they're just, I don't know, they're just a fun band to watch live. Like, they're just one of those that, you know.
I'm going to miss the fuck out of watching that lineup.
Yeah.
They had such good chemistry on stage.
Yeah.
But I've been fortunate enough to see them many times. Many times. So, oh, man. I just hope that they all, in whatever they do next, are successful and they all come back to Michigan. I'd like to see them all again.
Yeah.
But
I wonder if it's gonna change what they do, or you know, like stylistically. As far as
I think it definitely will.
Yeah.
I very much think definitely that it will.
I'm sure it'll still have that Finnish sound to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's
yeah, you're not
pretty
taking
much,
that out of it.
Yeah.
But Children of Bodom has a very refined. When you hear just 10 seconds of a Bodom song, you could probably identify that it's a Bodom song.
Yeah.
So, fuck 10 seconds. That's a long time. 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's all. I mean, it's in the tone of it. It's you know.
It's a very identifiable, immediate sound, and great. That's something that great bands do. Led Zeppelin does that. AC/DC does that. Lamb of God does that. Slipknot does that. Great bands. Well, fuck it. They have that ability to like they refine a very specific sound, and you can just hear like 2 seconds of any given track and know just on that sound who it is if you know it well enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and they're one of those. Children of Bodom definitely did that. Bummer for sure. But hey, you know, who knows? Maybe Alexi comes back and makes like he names the band fucking Bodom Bastard and fucking is just the hardest shit we've ever fucking heard.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I'd support that. I mean, honestly, like any of the, you know, kind of like what you're saying, like, you know, being a fan of you know, the band and of, you know, like the musicians and everything, like it'd be cool to see him come back and like do something that's like different, but that's a little more like, you know.
What if he got an offer
in your face, so to speak?
Yeah. What if he got an offer to be Ozzy's guitarist? I would shit my pants, dude.
That's a wild thought.
Oh, he literally would be the next Randy Rhoads.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Fucking yeah. Alexi's one of my all-time favorite guitarists. So
that's man.
He's open.
Yeah.
Hey Ozzy.
Yeah.
I know we got some tours coming up. And apparently Zakk Wylde isn't on the new album.
Oh really?
Well, yeah. According to Zach, yeah. But I did just see Zakk Wylde do Zach Sabbath. That was pretty sweet a few months back. It's awesome.
Can't say I'm the biggest fan of his guitar playing, but
he does one thing that bothers me, but I like everything else.
Yeah.
And I really like Black Label Society. He doesn't do it that much in Black, like In This River and shit. Oh,
yeah.
Love that song.
They got some good ones.
I haven't heard that in a minute.
Yeah.
In This River. That's a good song. I like his voice. He's such a weird sounding voice. I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Got anything else you want to talk about? You guys are Bog Race teasing some stuff.
Yeah.
Little teasers from Bog Race.
Got some new things in the works.
Some things are in the works, people.
I wish I could say more. I always feel like I say
no more can
like,
be said.
Yeah. And it's not for any other reason than like we're just in the planning stages of everything right now.
No more can be said to you, but more has been said to me.
Yeah.
And be excited. That's all I'm gonna say. Be fucking excited.
It's cool, man. Like I'm curious as ever to see the response to it and to kind of get these new songs out to people, and you know, because I mean with everything, you know, and this is like. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way to describe the newer stuff because
don't even try.
Yeah,
don't even try.
It's
not yet.
Yeah.
We'll wait.
So I don't know. It's a bit more like, I guess direct is a good way to put it. Like it's not. I don't know. I'll just wait, I guess.
Headline from Aaron: it's more direct than our previous stuff.
Yeah. At least to me, I don't know. It feels like anyway. I don't even know if like what that means. I guess in the scale of things, but like I don't know. We're doing some different stuff on it, and I think it's gonna be cool. So
looking forward.
So,
Definitely lots to look forward to. Bog Wraith, new Recorruptor, new Ozzy. Shit, next year, new Dahlia, new Cannibal, new Devil Driver, new Lamb of God, new fucking Hatebreed, new fucking...
Yeah.
Holy shit. Already, 2020's shaping up. Already.
I will say, with all of that, even still, like, it's going to take a lot to top this year.
This year was a great one.
Like
last year was really good. This year was better.
Yeah.
In terms of everything. And...
like I feel like with the exception of what you just named, like everything that could have like I don't know come out this year has like all the bands that have
almost there were a couple things that didn't.
Yeah.
There were a couple things that didn't end up happening, like the potential new second D. Snyder album.
Oh, yeah.
Anthrax never got released.
Yeah.
Their new album yet. There were a couple others that were potential.
Yeah.
That were maybes. We weren't sure. They never had an official release date or anything like that, but they were being talked about quite a bit. And yeah, we also have potential next year for new Iron Maiden, new AC/DC. I've been hearing rumors about both of those, so who knows, man? Next year might be fucking insane.
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, I guess that'll be about it for this one. We will be back again very soon. Maybe if you want to come by this weekend, we'll talk more with Josh and we'll talk about the Recorruptor show or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be back again very soon, and that's gonna be about it. So be sure to check out Bog Wraith and Recorruptor and Lost in the Dark podcast on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I almost said MySpace. Bandcamp. Jesus. Fucking Patreon, Twitch.
Yes.
I always forget those.
Yes.
And you know what? Hey, seek out your own local bands. If you don't live in the greater Lansing area, seek out some local bands from where you're from. And if you're a local band, or if you know a local band we've never talked about, let us know. We're always wanting to hear new shit. Always. So reach out to us.
They always say your new favorite band is well, for one, always started as a local somewhere.
Your favorite band always started as a local band,
and they could be playing 20 miles from you, and you don't even know it. Like, so.
And yeah, your next favorite band
could
be a local band in your area right now, and you could be witnessing the early days. So go out to local shows, support local music because it all starts there. And that's going to be about it from us tonight. So we'll be back again very soon. Thank you so much for listening. Raise your horns, bang your heads. Love you all to death. Good night.